Enough medical stuff.
Yeah, very good stuff. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. In thy name we ask this now.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone. I'm sure you have some enlightenment for us, Harry?
Probably not, but I'll start anyway. As you probably know, we did not get the recreation grant, so, but you know what? It's done, it's good, and it may live to fight another day. There are other options. The county had to support a DOT grant for connection of schools in Saranac, and they got it. So there's that option of running it all the way from Rouse's Point Elementary up to the middle school, high school, as a possible future. But there's also waterfront possibilities and even post-Pfizer possibilities. So it's there, it's all done, and we can retool it. So I haven't given up. I have a feeling, and we're going to get a reading from Parks and Grants, but I have a feeling that there's just not enough economic benefit to it in terms of job. There's no permanent jobs. In terms of scoring, I think that's probably where it fell down a little bit. But the county is ready and willing, and of all the things that I've been in politics since 1975, to see the three boards get together and all support this was quite encouraging to me, and I think we'll see that in the future. I wanted to mention sales taxes. I usually do. You probably read about it in the paper, but you guys are going to get a 13th check, I believe. Another $300,000 from, not for all of you, but up $300,000 from December. And we got one more month to go on that yearly thing. So it's significantly above what the figure is that they had given you to put in your budget. So. And as you probably know, you guys are almost in the 5% category of the total because of the assessment in the town of Champlain. So, there should be some more money coming. I wanted to mention to you the airport. You probably have seen a little bit of it in the paper. We did vote to spend up to $63 million for a new airport. But again, the question we always ask is, where's the money coming from? And this, again, will be coming from our facilities passenger charge, which is about $5 per person that goes through there, plus the parking. We're not intending to use any taxpayer money for that, plus the federal grants that always come in with these airports. So even though the price tag is going to be very high, it's going to be a completely modern airport with a much bigger terminal and different hopefully bringing in, a major airline. But as you probably have read, the Las Vegas thing is going great guns, 85% Canadian right now, but they're booked through April to Vegas. And people are using it to get Allegiant flies out of there to Phoenix and to Los Angeles, so you can actually go cross country. So we're very pleased about that. On our budget, I know you guys, I saw it in the paper, had your budget. We, of course, were attempting to stay under the property tax cap again. We have about $160 million budget, and our mandates alone are nearly half of that. We did have to increase taxes, but only 0.03%, which was about 2 cents on a $6.05 tax bill went to $6.07. And again, I'm sure you're doing the same thing. I don't remember. I used to go with the town, but when is your state meetings? Is that coming up here shortly? February, that's right. Our lobbying campaign is going to be to have the state try to take over some of these mandates. That's just killing us. And if we all do it together, at least we're speaking with one voice, and I'm sure your executive committee is going to be doing the same thing. But I did want to mention to you relative to, and I'm not sure what you guys are doing with your contractual negotiations, whether you saw in the paper or not, but we really decided this year to attempt to hold the line. We averaged about 1.2% raises for the county over a 3-year contract, and we're getting upwards well over 20% in terms of health insurance contribution. So, this is the way it's going. I don't know whether, how do you do that, Larry? Do you sit down with do you have a union?
With the union, yes.
Yeah, and when are you guys up?
We have 2 more years.
2 more years, so just
Just
something. What's that?
The end of 2014.
Okay, it's just something to think about in terms of frame of reference as to where we are. We had,
It's one of the lowest settlements I've seen.
yeah, well, the first time, as you may have read, it got turned down by the employees, but they came back and voted again, and I think everybody recognizes that it's a process where, public employees have to also be part of the solution. And we had a very good negotiations. The president and vice president came to our last meeting to praise our negotiations team. So I think it can be done. It's not an easy process, but the old days of having automatic raises, and some people actually did not get raises depending on where they were on the salary schedule and so on. So, but it's a tough sell. But, we're trying to tighten our belt as far as fiscally in the county, so we don't have to lay off very many people. And, the only thing we had to do, as you probably remember, was the home health care situation. And we did have to lay off about 55 people from that. But, I would just say to you that, parenthetically, that, and I'll end with this, that, we would have ended up in a situation where we would have had to raise taxes considerably if we hadn't done that. It was a $1.9 million loss the year before last. So if we'd lost that again last year, you would have seen, we would have had to break the property tax cap. That would have required 6 people voting from the county. We need 60% over the limit. And I don't know whether that would have happened. I don't know what would have happened. Probably a lot of jobs would have gone. So. But I have talked to many of the people, and just as a quick aside, I had a couple of home health care people come to my home while I was rehabbing, and the first girl walked in and said, Mr. McManus, I don't know whether you remember me. She was a former student, and I said, yeah, I can't remember your name, and she told me the name, but she said, that's not what I'm talking about. You fired me last year. And I said, oh. But she said, you know what? She said, I like that she was very impressed with home health care Rochester, and she felt that it was much more efficient, and the second girl was in the same situation, and they both said the same thing, that they think it's, sometimes private industry is better at things than government, maybe many times, and it's just one of those things. I don't know whether I would have said that 25 years ago, but now I certainly believe it. So again, I'm available for questions anytime anything comes up. Let me know. I do apologize. I think we haven't seen each other in probably 4 months now. But anyway, I don't know whether there are any questions or anything.
The airport,
Yeah.
what time schedule is that, 3 to 5 years, or what?
No, we're in the next 2 years. It's supposed to be done in the next 2 years, yeah. So, yeah, we're pushing.
Is the current parking situation gonna be sufficient for the new?
No,
Terminals
we're
left.
meeting, actually, it's funny you mention that. That's phase 1. We're meeting tomorrow night on that issue, and we're gonna have to because we do expect, hopefully to get into, we're in about the 100 to 125,000 category in terms of employments, where we're hoping to double that at least. So, and the Canadian market is there. I mean, it's, and when they come down here to fly, they also go elsewhere.
Absolutely.
And, it's win-win. It's,
absolutely.
really is, so.
Is there any intent in the future to have anything built there as far as lodging at all? Right there?
Not right now, Dick, but you know what, that's private, but the more people that come, the more you will probably see someone, put a Econo Lodge or something out there, absolutely. I would say that's coming. But right now, it's everybody's in kind of a holding pattern to see how this is gonna go. But as far as we know, the federal government is guaranteed these loans, and the state's chipping in, and with what we have, if we can do this without putting a nickel on the tax rate, that's gonna be, that is a commitment that all 10 of us, plus Mike Zerlo, have made. So I think it's gonna happen, I really do.
Just to support what you're saying, I sat in on an infrastructure utility meeting as part of our business, and the guys that ran the show were very, very thorough. It was encouraging them to hear them talk about how they weren't just planning for how they were gonna make this happen, but also look at what would happen with these facilities if it were to expand again. So,
Right.
you know, I saw some progressive thinking on the part of these engineers that were there, talking about the proposed structure, but also the potential future for growth even beyond that. So I thought that was good.
That's one of the things that many of us on the committee felt was very important to do, because we consider ourselves Montreal's kind of suburb here. And if you factor that in, you have a major metropolitan center with well over 1 million people, you know, the potential is there for us, especially with the feedback we're getting from the people who come down. You know, you could see a lot more people there. So, I mean, I'm, you know, 60-some million seems like a huge number, but, you know, we could see another expansion. And you know, but I think that one would be down the road, but at least we're building it with the idea of that in mind, and that's key, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Harry? We thank you.
Okay,
You
very
reckon to
good.
stay, or?
Well, I'm gonna try and hit Morris again, if I can get over there, so.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Harry.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Anybody else? We need a motion to approve 2 different sets of minutes, one of our regular December 11th meeting, the first.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 11th, 2012. I'll second that.
Any questions on the December 11th meeting? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the December 28th year-end meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, you do.
Thank you. Any questions on the minutes of December 28th? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
1 abstention. Thank you. Passes. Okay, it's our organizational meeting. The supervisor's appointments are as follows. The deputy supervisor will be Richard Favreau. The grants committee will be Dennis Roberts, John Cooper, and Mike Tatro Jr. The water and sewer committee, Steve Southwick, John Cooper, and Michael Tatro Jr. Highway committee, John Cooper and Dennis Roberts. The building committee, Dennis Roberts and Richard Favreau. Emergency Preparedness Committee will be John Cooper and Richard Favreau. Handicap Discrimination Committee will be Dennis Roberts and Larry Barcombe. Town Policy Committee, Larry Barcombe and Richard Favreau. Zoning, Steve Southwick. Planning Committee, Richard Favreau. Landfill Committee, Steve Southwick and Dennis Roberts. Code and Zoning Officer, Mike Tatro Jr. Registrar of Vital Statistics, Julie Castine. Budget Officer, Larry Barcombe. Harassment Officer, Jane West. Fixed Access Records Clerk, Jane West. The Youth Director will be Linda Fredette. Cable Franchise will be Richard Favreau. Dog Control Officer will be Joe Mott. The Fire District Liaison will be Steve Southwick. Safety Officers will be Mickey Tatro. Board of Assessment and Review, Dennis Roberts. Parks and Youth Programs will be Richard Favreau and Dennis Roberts. Shared Services, Steve Southwick and John Cooper. Historian, Tom Vanderbilt. We do need a resolution to approve and review and accept town policies The procurement policy needs to be revised. We did not have a recommendation this month, but we will in the future. So if we could accept those as presented.
I make a motion to accept the town policies for personnel, conflict of interest, code of ethics, sexual harassment, drug-free workplace, alcohol and drug, safety and health, investment, disaster response, hazardous material response, and hazardous communication with procurement to be revised.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
any questions on any of those? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The salaries for 2013, yours may say 2012, or
Yeah.
that's fine. The supervisor is 19,000. Council members are $6,150 each. Highway superintendent is 18,378 as an elected position, and $31,658 is a full-time working position. The town clerk tax collector is $25,031. Additional duties for the town clerk, for water and sewer clerk, is $3,275. Planning and zoning board clerk is $9,164. Two justices at $22,599 each. Marriage officers, $1,000. Youth director, $5,796. Board of Assessment Review, a total of $1,500. There's 5 members on that board, and it's $300 each. Deputy Town Clerk Registrar is $1,000. A motion to accept those as read.
I make a motion to accept the salaries for 2013 as read.
And I'll second.
Thank you. This is as per budget in the fall of the year. This is the salaries that we agreed to in the budget time. I thank you for that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to set the regular meeting. Our regular meetings are normally the second Tuesday of the month here at the town offices at 7 o'clock. We have one request to delay the April meeting by 1 week from, I believe it's the 9th to the 16th. If I'm correct? I'd like a motion to approve the meeting night as Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month, at 7 o'clock, except April will be the third Tuesday of the month.
So moved. I'll second that.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We'll designate the following banks as official depositories: the Champlain National Bank, the Community Bank, and TD North Banks. There are 3 banks that we do business with. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the Champlain National Bank, the Community Bank, and the TD Bank North as our designated official town banks.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Designate the town of Champlain official newspaper as the Plattsburgh Press Republican.
Do you have a choice?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, we do. The other choice would be the North Countryman, which we do once a week. Plattsburgh paper does us a good job. Did I have a motion to second both on that? No.
I'll make a motion, we accept the Plattsburgh Press Republican as the town newspaper.
I'll second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to designate the town attorney as William Favreau.
I make a motion to accept, to designate the town attorney as William Fowler.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we designate the town attorney for zoning and planning, be Tom Renane, from Stafford Owens Curtin's Trombley office.
I'll make a motion to designate Tom Renine as the official town attorney for zoning and planning.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The mileage rate, I meant to check on that. I believe it's still 55.5. Do you know, it hasn't changed, is it?
No, it's 55.5.
Okay. I'd like a motion to approve the mileage rate,
I make,
55.5 cents per mile.
I make a motion to accept to set the mileage rate for 2013 at 55.5 cents per mile.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Donations to local veterans organizations. Upon submission of vouchers, we normally do this every year. There is 4 veteran organizations within our township. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Authorizing payment in advance of audit claims for public utility service, postage, freight, and express charges, and all payroll-related deductions.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions? This authorizes to pay these bills between meetings, that's all it does. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we need to designate a delegate and an alternate to the Association of Town meeting held in February. To my knowledge, for a voting member, we only have one
John
councilman.
Cooper.
John Cooper's the only one going, I believe, from this board.
Yep.
So I need a motion to approve John Cooper as a voting delegate.
I make a motion to designate John Cooper as delegate to the Association of Towns meeting in February.
Second?
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need a motion to pay for registration, bus fare, hotel, and designated dollar amount giving to attend official association town meetings. We normally,
That was budgeted, right?
yes,
Yep.
So the dollar amount's already set?
yes.
Right.
I make a motion to pay the registration and bus fare fee for those that we've already discussed who's going, so.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. Okay. In lieu of filing the town's financial report by the supervisor with the New York State Audit and Control, he is authorized instead to file a copy of his annual report given to the State Controller's Office within 60 days of the close of the financial year. And further, he forward a copy of the proof of publication of said report in the official town newspaper when filing with the said Audit and Control. This makes our annual report available to the public. I have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to beginning and the end and filing the town's financial report
Okay,
with the state audit and control.
I'll second that.
thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. Post-audit resolution. Authorizing the payment in advance of auditing claims for public utilities, postage, freight, and express charges. All such claims shall be presented at the next regular meeting for audit, and the claimant and the officer incurring or approving the same shall be jointly and severally liable for any amount disallowed by the board. Need a motion to approve?
I make a motion, we authorize the payment in advance of audit claims for public utility services.
Thank you.
Second that?
Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. I'll take, you want to do Carl's? No, that's okay, to do Carl's?
Yeah, that's fine.
I have a recommendation from the planning board. They've nominated Carl Schenk as chairman for this coming year and Bob Wesselholm as co-chairman of the planning board. Or vice chair, I guess you would call it. Vice chair?
Yeah, vice chair.
Vice chair. This is a one-year appointment. They make their nomination. Carl's been there for several years. He's well experienced. So I need a motion to approve Carl.
I make a motion to approve or accept Carl
And
and Rob Wilson home.
Yes. Okay. Any questions?
I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. I hope to have the zoning board next month. They have not had a meeting yet to do that. Okay. I need a motion to approve the town clerk's monthly report.
I make a motion, we approve the town clerk's monthly report.
I'll second that
As
motion.
usual, it's a good job.
Yep.
I have a motion and a second, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The town,
Yearly.
That was just a yearly
Yearly.
report I did.
we don't need to approve it,
No,
Oh, you
just
don't
did it so
need-
you guys could see
Yeah,
for the whole year.
okay?
but,
Thank
quite
you.
a year. Good job, Julie.
Thank you.
Is that a good year in your mind?
It's not excessively busy.
Actually, I have, last year's, I printed out last year, and we're up maybe $102.
No, not down anyway.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not been a big year for planning buildings, new buildings and stuff. We need a motion to approve the utility pre-billing report. This is recommended by the auditors that we do this. We're approving the water and sewer bills. That's what it amounts to. I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the utility billing report.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any questions on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. You have your work schedule for the real property office here in the town of Champlain. They're here every Friday. And on Mondays, they're normally here in the building, not always, they could be here, but not always in the building. They're here every Friday, but just strictly for information. You have your dog control officer's complaint log. You got a letter from Eric Day, he's the Emergency Services Director down in Plattsburgh, pertaining to an ICS Class 300 coming up, starting next week. I've taken some of those, I haven't probably taken them all, Alan's taken several. I don't know if Alan,
I'm embarrassed, I don't even know what an
I don't think I took the
ICS.
300 yet.
What is
No,
that?
we all took a portion.
yeah, I probably took the 1 and 200 myself.
Yeah, 300.
Actually,
There was a 700 I took last year.
we took one down at the Association of Towns.
Okay, these classes are offered basically what to do during emergencies. Okay.
Are you up to that?
I'd have to check and see how many I've got, because we get some when we go to Lake Placid for code training. I know I've had a couple in the last couple of years. So,
And we took one at the Knights of Columbus.
I did the one in Rouse's Point originally, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, but this thing is dated December the 8th, as we received it, it said it's the 13th, is that 13th of December? Says next week.
Good point, John.
Good question.
Well, I think they'll went by, because I know the guys in the village of Rouse's Point were going to an emergency meeting, that was last week, I wasn't thinking they went somewhere, but I come in and I didn't know, we had it, it wasn't our last,
You're right.
last month's.
12th and 13th is this weekend.
Didn't they have something in El Total last week?
Yeah,
We
we
were
had
talking
that.
about it.
Last Thursday
12
or
and
Friday, they
13,
had.
Saturday and
had one.
Sunday.
Yeah, that must have been,
Morning.
must have
I
been.
don't
This is
think
last
that-
month.
I thought Mrs. didn't write down to that one.
That's how they look in your calendar, the 12th and 13th.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
a
this
Saturday and
weekend.
Sunday.
Yeah.
We missed it then?
Yep.
Okay.
But they were having different ones at different places though.
Well, I tell you what, let me get with Jim tomorrow and check on, see where we're at on that, but some of us might have to go to that at some time, at one point in time here. We gotta bring things up to date, we're supposed to be on top of
Yep.
that.
Okay, the last thing here I have is Champlain Watershed Improvement Coalition. It's for your information only. It's directed to the highway superintendent and myself, town supervisors. Julie, what do you have for us here?
Well, I have to appoint Jane West as my deputy town clerk, and I need your approval on that.
Okay.
I make a motion to appoint Jane West as deputy town clerk.
I second that.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried?
You just have to appoint Janice Letourneau as marriage officer.
I have a motion.
I make a move to appoint Janice Letourneau as the marriage officer.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? Those in favor?
I do.
Oh,
Little humor.
That's all I have.
board's permission. I got about 5,500 yards of stones that crushed in the sand pit. They haven't been crushed since 2009. So I'd like to get them crushed, but I gotta put it out, I'm gonna put it out for bids. I'd like to get the board's permission to put that out for bids.
Make a move that we set, put down for bids of the stone crushing. Al will give us a letter and get it out. Somebody can bid on it.
I mean, there's no hurry, but if the weather does break sometime, you know, get that done early.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and we have a motion to go out to bid for crushing stone. How many, 55?
That's what we had figured. I brought Todd Deal out there and we measured it somewhat around there, between 5 and 5,500 yards.
Okay. Bring that in by next meeting, is okay, or?
Yeah.
You want it
I
before
gotta
that?
play, I gotta play with the weather.
You want it before that?
No,
You advertise that, Jane, to have
yeah,
bids
put
open
it out for
by the
bids,
next
just
meeting?
open it next.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will, Julie.
What's that?
You call me Jean.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I've been called worse.
Okay, as far as, we got through a fairly severe storm here a week or two ago. The highway crew did a great job, working like 16 hours one day during the storm. Certainly that we appreciate. Anything else?
As far as the building committee, Richard and I are gonna go tomorrow to check on some kind of a screen or something,
Yeah, we
or if
talked-
we have any presentations or anything. Do you know about computer hooked up in here? Would that be, you guys take care of that if we needed
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, should be able to do it.
Can I go right off the phone then?
No?
I thought we had Wi-Fi hooked up.
Yeah, I think there is a wireless setup in here somewhere.
Is there, if there is, that was one of the things I was gonna talk to you offline, is wireless, and if that's in here or not.
Yeah, because I bring my.
Because I didn't know.
I bring my laptop in here.
Well, that's perfect then, so basically all we need
From
is
the
a,
employment things in here on his all the time.
that's great, all we really need is a screen and projector.
Yeah, we discussed that at budget time, because this is antiquated here, these
I don't know.
tube TVs and things that's a thing of the past.
But belongs in that tent out there.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it
So
does.
anyways, we, and when we have presentations, from visitors, we have to, we gotta change with the times.
Yeah, did we discuss putting a roll down in here at one time, right here?
That would be a good idea.
Did we, Dick?
We did, but I think a flat screen would be a better use. I mean, we could do both. But a flat screen in today's world, everybody with a laptop or whatever, if somebody comes in and does, what we had talked about it before, but Alan would like to do a safety meeting, and Bruce Gray has a laptop
But,
that's,
but with Wi-Fi, I
Yeah.
think the screen would, and a projector, you.
we could do both as well. I mean,
Well, the bottom line is we wanna report that we're gonna look at this tomorrow, and,
Yes.
we'll get something in here in the near future.
you could have a pull-down screen,
You know,
but also have
projectors
a
and
flat
a
screen.
screen there would be the ones you can sit down
Okay.
and run it right through.
I think that's what,
That's something we've
Then
talked
you just
about
plug your
for
laptop into it.
more than 1 year.
so, we'll make it happen.
You have your post audit bills, we need to approve the monthly bills. Do you have any additional bills?
No.
I reviewed the bills this afternoon.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills as presented?
I make a motion to pay the bills as listed.
Second that.
Any questions on any of the bills?
Has diesel gone down at all, Alan?
No. 344 I read today.
I think it was 337 last bill. When I didn't anything, I think it went up.
Well, in the bills there, I believe today I read 344, I don't know
Yeah.
which one it was. Okay. I heard that fuel oil's gone up 20 cents, but I hadn't heard.
Really?
Did I have a motion to approve, did I?
Yes.
Yep,
In a second.
yes.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Does anybody else have anything to bring before the board before I ask for an executive session?
I have one thing. John and I were working on that transfer switch for that generator for the lift station. And that transfer switch, to get that, just to buy the parts to modify that thing is $3,700. And the person I spoke with said it'd be cheaper to go buy a new one than it would be to try to retrofit that one. Right now, we have no backup. There's a generator sitting there, but God forbid if we ever had to use that thing the way it's set up.
I went down and checked with Champlain Valley on another switch the other day, and the only thing I didn't bring down was how many KWs the generator was. I took all the information I thought I needed, but I'm gonna be back down there this week, and I'm gonna go further with that. In the meantime, I got back to Brian, because he said that switch would cost us approximately like $1,500 or $1,800, because we're only buying the switch big enough to run those 2 pumps on the pump station. He said he's gonna go back up there and take a look at that for us one more time before I go back down and talk to this gentleman down there, because I just can't see that type of money for 2 pump station motors. To me, that's darn near impossible. I mean, if you're changing over and running the whole building here or something like that, yes, I can understand that. But when you only got 2 electric motors and they're not that big of motors, I can't understand the price. So Brian's gonna take one more look at it for us before I try to do something. But I went down and talked to him.
Just for the transfer switch, it's $3,100?
The parts to convert it, see that transfer switch was set up for 480 volts, and we've got the 120, 240.
Okay.
So you have to, the components are a lot different, lot lighter, and there was 4 components that they listed out, and that was the price that they quoted me.
Okay,
So they said it would be cheaper to buy a brand new switch
right.
than to try to rebuild this one.
When he was, the other guy down below at Champlain Valley Electric was talking about 3, and I said, that just doesn't seem in the house to me. So I finally got hold of Brian the other day, and we talked about it about a half an hour. He said, let me go up there and take another look at that before you do anything. So I said, okay. And he's supposed to do that. He might even have done it today. I didn't go see him today.
Okay.
But I want to get it done, but the only thing is, you know, it seems impossible for me to switch over for 2 little motors. We're not discussing anything huge here. We're only gonna need a 200 amper. I mean, we're not talking anything really big. If it was single phase, there's all kinds of for sale on the paper, but it's of course the 3-phase.
Right.
But that's where that's at, anyway.
Anything else? I need a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Make a motion to go into executive session for personnel matter.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.